Welcome in, everybody. So welcome to the stream. We're going to hop on the charts right now and get this going. Take a look at what's happening in Asia. I do see some selling right off the open, which is indicative of kind of what we were thinking. So let's go ahead and get this opened up and we'll take a look at what we're seeing on the charts. So over here on the charts, we can see, big push down off the open. To be expected, though. I mean, it's nothing too crazy. We did have a massive sell-off today. Really just a pullback to that equilibrium of that range. I mean, it's kind of textbook stuff if you ask me. Go ahead, remove all of these levels. We'll pull from the high to the low. And yeah, just about 50%. So all of this selling right here, here's essentially going to be your open, boom, push. So yeah, really just start to pick apart some levels, see what we can identify on the charts and kind of go from there. Here's our NQ. 15 minutes. So yeah, we really need room down to this area. Wonder if we're going to get it right off the open. We looking to see if I can align with any sort of bounces. It's a good chance it just kind of rips lower. I was in a short pretty much all day. I have a short from in this area. And I just got trailed out right here before the close on my personal account. So I would have still been positioned, but it's all good. So we'll be watching price for probably 30 to 40 minutes. Nothing crazy long today. Keep it short and sweet, get to the point. Really just want to observe how we're going to be trading during the session. You'd want to see pretty much every single little opposite series of candles validated as an order block. That's really what you'd want to be seeing. So yeah, we're just seeing this continued push lower. It might be kind of hard to get involved just given the fact that we didn't get this entry up here. But we'll give it a little bit of time. It is super extended to the downside, you know, given the move, but we do have that obvious target to the downside as well. Right here being one of them, and then obviously down here. Yeah, 5-minute opening range. This is where you could technically try to chase it, but it's not a good idea, usually speaking. So you have that little order block right there, then now you're pushing our downside levels right there. So we're just seeing the continuation of today's move. We were looking for the shorts, so it was good to see that happen, see them come through. And realistically, it's just a matter of, are we gonna trade here? Do we see a reaction, and then are we gonna trade down here? That's what I would be thinking for the next handful of sessions, if not just the rest of the week. So you're forming fair value gaps right here. You could try a short like this. It's a little aggressive. You could try something like this to then run for the lows. It's at $30 on the stop, maybe make it like 40. So our next downside level is like right here. Then after that, we have down here. Only problem with these extended fair value gaps towards the lows is they could get ran through pretty easily. They could get inverted. And it won't be too much of an issue for price. But we're just seeing if it wants to give us that run to this downside. Look at the 1 minute right here. So yeah, it's running through the gap right now. All good. That was our first shot at something. We'll see what happens from here. I still think the downside bias is intact. I just think, obviously, like I was saying, these gaps during Asia could get ran through. They're pretty, they don't really define structure all that much. Let's see what we're doing with VWAP. Let's take a glance at that. So now we want to just see, are we going to respect this gap right here? The one that's just formed. We also have these series of up candles right here. This is kind of that last peak. Are we going to reject here, or are we going to cut through this, potentially using this to kind of reverse back into the range? It's still really early in the period. You know, you have the hourly candle opening up right now. It's the close of the 15-minute just about right here. So we do have some room to kind of manipulate this range before running lower. But let's take a good look at the daily chart, see what we got going on. Yeah, for me on the daily, I'm thinking this. I'm thinking daily low. I'm thinking maybe 22,600 after that. So any sort of bounce like this really is a decent opportunity for me to try to align with that bias. So even though the first entry wasn't all that great, it got stopped, we will consider seeing if there's anything right here. So we're trying the same kind of idea, seeing if this gap right here is going to get inverted. Same way our first entry kind of got inverted. We're now going to be looking at this as the swing point to then run for these lows down here. See, we get a nice little bleeder to start the day. We want to see this right here, then validate as an order block as well. It's very possible though that we range here and then we run the stop. So if this one doesn't work and it validates the swing point, then I'm going to give it some time because obviously it isn't ready if that's the case. But a simple continuation, kind of momentum off the open, looking at that previous day's activity and trying to align with that. We need a strong push through the 50s. If we get a push through the 50s, then we do have a running chance at this trade working in our favor. Really big ranges though already. You know, we're talking, we traded from here. Yeah, 57 points the last couple minutes. Alrighty, now we need the close under this low. That would be very solid for us. It's looking good so far. It's looking good so far, but we have a little bit of ways to go till we hit our target. Clean up our charts real quick. So targets are getting pulled from that hourly chart. That's really the idea. Can we see that continuation off this daily open? Down to this swing point right here. Some sort of reference in the middle on the 15, and then a downward swing point right here as well. That's what we're watching for. It could get a little squirrely, like I said, this could run it easily. But if it could give us that quick momentum that we're looking for, then we're in a good position. Switch to the 1 minute for us. Make it nice and clear right here. Main entry was based on this inversion. Stops above the swing point. So if that gets invalidated, then that entry is not going to be for us. Not trying to stick around. Really just kind of this continuation of this hourly idea. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I posted this earlier today. I posted this bearish gap up here. I was talking about that. You know, as you can see, we ran out this area up here. And the idea is that we trade back towards this daily low, probably by tomorrow, honestly. It would be interesting to see if it happens right now, like, you know, overnight or whatever. But I do think we're going to be pretty limited to this kind of area for the night. Little resistance to start the session. This next 15-minute candle right here that we're on, we're seeing a little bit of sideways action. It's all good. A little bit of that drift right here. Can we get the break of low a day, guys? Let's see if we got it. Let's see if we got it right here. It looks like we're getting some momentum into the lows, so if you're sticking around, we'll be in for a good treat right here. See if we get it. We're just looking for the move through the lows, ladies and gentlemen. If we can get it, then we have a good chance at reaching our target one off of the hourly chart. But we just need the momentum. We just need the momentum. You know how it is around here. This swing right here, very, very clear. Right there. Then a 15-minute low, and then again, another swing low from the hourly. So, what are the things that I like to see when I'm in a trade? I like to see displacement, meaning fair value gaps getting created. I like to see timeframes aligning. I like to see strong closes. So if I start to see anything like a 15-minute wick to the downside that's holding, that would be problematic. But as you can see, we formed the basis of an upper wick right here. So I'm liking what I see so far. We have a little bit of room down to our first target. First target's about 30 points. It's a couple points over 30. So that'll lock us in $60 for the day. That should erase our first loss completely. Just below that, we'll be taking another partial at 23,000. And then we'll look for the move below that for the real profit. Can we get the rotation? About 20 points off right now. We got to break a low a day. We're kind of holding the structure. So that's what makes me a little bit hesitant to get ahead of myself. But as you can see, the move is starting to transpire. The 15-minute formed the top wick. We just need the body now for the bottom. To the downside, that's what we're looking for on the 15-minute. Just still stuck in this little bit of a downward channel right here. I'm mindful of this happening. We did get the break a low a day, but we did not get a sustained move just yet. So we are keeping that in mind. Pull up our 100-tick chart, see what we're looking like. Not terrible, not great though. 1-minute chart, yeah, still very, very confined. Had a good entry on this inversion. We just need the displacement now. Let's see if we can get it. What's good, brother? What's good? How did New York session go? So New York went okay. I traded a personal account for today for the most part. Yeah, then I had some funded trades. It went all right. I was just up a little bit. I was up a little bit late and I just didn't get on stream. That's all good. We'll be on stream tomorrow for that. All righty, now we're seeing that movement through the lows. This looks promising, guys. Looks promising. If we get a strong close here, that would be really, really, really beneficial. But as you already know, with Asia, we understand these moves can be pretty slow, pretty grindy, and that they don't always just push the way we need them to. But yeah, New York was pretty good, honestly. I had two really solid entries on my personal account. I had one entry basically on PMI. I got stopped by like $1, got back in on the short. And then I rode that for like 150 points or something like that. Maybe almost 200. And then I had another entry on the pullback into the hourly fair value gap. And I got trailed right like at like 4:06 p.m. So right after the Eastern close, which was annoying because then it dropped another 60 points like right after. So if that didn't happen, I would have still had my short from 30s, from 23,000 to 30, basically, is where I was entered. So I'd still be in that, basically 200 points lower. So that would have been a good trade. I got a good amount of it, but definitely not as much as I could have. I got trailed by like $1 or $2. I think it was on this. I'll actually find it. Where was it? Yeah, it was on this candle right here. See, it says 60. It's like 67 or 65. My stop was at 165 exactly. So I got trailed on that. Alrighty, will this be the break? Let's take some bets. Let's see if this will be the break right here. Will this get us new low a day? I'm interested to see it happen relatively soon. At least target one, right? I don't, the way I like to do these, I'll if the ranges are big, right? If the ranges are big, I'll use smaller size. I'll use a structure-based stop, and then I'll try to just partial out. Because if it really does want to start to expand, one contract could make a good amount of the trade. Whereas I don't want to make that same type of damage on my drawdown, if that makes sense. I don't want to lose to 5 or 6 contracts right here if it just wicks it real quick. But we'll risk the $100 total. So see, this is what's happening. We got stuck in this channel, and now it's doing one of the traditional Asia pushes where it's going to sweep out this high. More than likely, that's what I'm seeing start to develop. You have the 15-minute closing higher now. That was initially a wick at the top, and then it pushed lower. 5 minutes starting to get bulled up. So I get a little bully right here. We still have the opportunity to sweep out an internal high, then rotate. However, at this point, the stop's pretty tight. You see, we're talking like 10 points. So I'm thinking stop happens pretty soon. And then we wait and then try to reposition. We had a good entry though. I thought the entry was pretty solid. It's not working just yet. Not at least as much as we wanted it to. So is what it is. There's not much you could do with a scenario like this. You just be mindful of this right here. If it's going to stop right here, that's great. But more often than not, it's just going to run the high, especially if it's just right there. Sometimes this can happen, sure. But generally speaking, it won't. Generally speaking, the low gets ran. I'm sorry, the high will get ran right here. See, that's that push. Boom. Oh, good. What did we get? We were up about 18 points. I mean, could we have done anything with that? I don't know. Hard to say. So 100 down for the day. We took 2 shots. Had one short right here. Got banged out real quick. This one right here, we tried to hang on for a little bit, and then it just kind of reversed. So now the question is, where are we trying to go from here? I still think the main draw is lower. It's just win, right? How deep does this need to rally before it wants to break for these lows? We have the hourly chart right here. Very rarely will the hourly chart just want to stop before any of these swings. I don't think that the move's done to the downside. I just think maybe we're early, or my stop's just was in a very precarious spot. So this is what we're dealing with right here. We have this rejection here. Rejection here. We're below this. Now it's an inversion gap. We have this hourly fair value gap right here as well. So with these levels, we got to watch for the downside. That's what I'm thinking. This should be pretty much VWAP right here. We're a little bit above VWAP. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to watch for the reaction here. Basically right here. So we had the open, break below, couple pushes, 3 drives really, breaks the trend line. Now will it high or low right here, or is it going to fail the lows? That's kind of the procedure going on. I do like the idea of it kind of forming a high right here, maybe a little VWAP overshoot. But it can easily hold that level, you know? Got to give it a couple options with what it can do. I think I'm more in line with it just kind of manipulating my stop initially. And so I think the first idea is okay to go for. I think this is okay. We're just gonna leave it right here. Yeah, I think this is fine. So it looks like the timing on this one's a little bit better. I think we just got it manipulated out of that first trade. Obviously, we're not in the clear just yet. I know it looks pretty good, but with a big candle like this, I promise you, it can easily delete it on the next one during Asia. It can easily do that. So I'm not saying this is safe. I don't even feel comfortable moving the stop to break even or anything like that. I think I had to leave it right here for now. So the main idea is still the initial short idea. We've just tried to reposition based on, the stop gain ran here and then seen it kind of peter out and give that inversion right there, along with VWAP as confluence. Good trade's gonna have multiple layers. It's like a recipe, right? You don't have one ingredient. You probably got more than one. Probably got a handful. So what you don't want to see anytime you see a big displacement in Asia, you don't want to see it hold like this, because then I'm thinking push. I'm thinking push really quick. It likes to drop and then ramp. That's a very common trait with Asia. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time, but I need to see it lower high really quick. Otherwise, I'll just probably cut the trade early on this one. You do not want to see a drop, steep drop, and then it just ramp, because it'll just teleport. And that's not the type of trade we want to be in. So we need this to form a lower low right here pretty soon. Probably trim this a little, 77, I think. So we need this swing to form and then drop. What are looking like on the 100-tick chart? Yeah, I don't trust this just yet. I need to see a lower low. Lower low to kind of confirm the market structure that I think I see. Otherwise, it's just a bait. It's a bait and switch. It's cool I got in and gave me an eight points almost instantly, but it's not going to let me keep them, it seems like. Yeah, very nasty move. This is a very, very, very manipulative move, because it could easily just want to run this high one more time. Or maybe it's off to the races now. Look at that. That's dirty. That's extremely dirty right there. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it for this this structure. I'm good on this. After two really good shots, and then this kind of shit just happening, I'll just give it a second, because what are we doing here? It is pretty funny though when you know it's already going to happen, and then it happens. You're like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. What are we looking like on the higher time frame? What do we have on the 5-minute? Yeah, 5-minute hasn't really done anything to invalidate it yet. We're just kind of consolidating at these lows. All right, last one right here. Last one. We'll ride this for the lows. If this flips on me, then we'll call it early. But I'm thinking, is this going to double top a VWAP? Maybe this is just one last push. I've been seeing that a lot lately, where it drives pretty close to the swing high and it just doesn't rotate over. And then that ends up being the high. So that's on my mind. But if we're going to just higher low here and reclaim VWAP, then I'll just call it quits on that. Damn. All right. It is what it is. There's not really much I can do. It is not ready for what I'm looking for. So we tried the short here. This got pushed really quick. That's fine. We tried it here. We were up about 18 points. That's cool. We tried it here. We were up about 8 points, and then it rolled back. And then we said, you know what? One last shot here. And it just pushed the highs again. So something's up. Something's up. That's, to say the least, right? We have a big move down. We have levels to the downside. We had clear structure showing that we wanted to move lower. And then it just kind of just bullies us. That's a problem with these ranges getting bigger, is because, we're not really doing all that much, but we're talking 66 points off the range for Asia alone, it can just bounce really aggressive. You know, into the close, I'm in profit on a trade, and we see these 50-point bounces in the market, which is inconsequential to the overall structure, but it's still annoying when you're trying to position. So, or at least trying to manage the trade. So yeah, down 200 bucks. That's pretty much all we can do, right? Down 200 bucks on the day. Just watching this. Take a look at some other markets as well, but yeah, I kind of got bullied there. Not gonna lie, that's kind of funny. See what we look. What is gold looking like right now? Gold should be decent. Yeah, gold's stepping up from the bottom of that daily range. It's crude looking like. Yeah, still terrible since the World War III hoax. Let's see. Alrighty. Are we gonna do it again? Are we gonna do it again? That's the question. What would make you want this trade? Would I want to short through here, or am I going to take this inversion here? Because it keeps just bullying me at the highs. I've gotten trailed not trailed. I've gotten stopped 4 times at these highs right here. Size down, of course, on it, but what would make me want to get involved? I like that it's pulling back. I don't like that it's so coiled like this. I don't like that it's pretty equal high and flat right here. It's boxy. What would make me like this trade more? Let's think. Probably more action on the tick. I think tick might be a little slow right now. And tick's all right. We're holding view up. See what we got. Are we bull flagging or BSing? That's the question. Bull flag right here, or is it just BS? 5 minute really is not doing us favors. So it's these wicks. This wick right here, this wick right here, that's really what's done the damage. A wick means something happens quick, and then it returns to where it was before. So oftentimes it means it doesn't really matter. It's not actual price data. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning into the stream. We're going to keep picking it apart. We're going to keep picking it apart, watch a little bit more. We've kind of got smacked around a little bit. It's pretty funny, not going to lie. So I'll walk you through the trades, anyone just walking in. We had a short right here on this gap. We said, you know what, maybe for the little momentum, stop real quick. Saw it, said, okay, maybe it was just going to need to invert. We're up a little bit, stopped. Tried VWAP, stopped. And then tried one more time, VWAP, stopped. So it's doing enough damage to stop me out, but still like it's not invalidating completely, which is the tricky part, because it could be a matter of me having my stop too tight, which I don't think I have, but it could also be a matter of this just being the wrong bias for right now, which that could happen. It's still mid-range. You know, you have range high, range low. You're essentially in the middle. You're just below the middle of the range. Go right here. There's your opening range for Asia. First 30 minutes, essentially. So you have 2 options to look at. Will this want to run for up here? Or is it going to fail mid-range? That's the question. $1 million question, or in this case, probably like a $200 question. So anyone have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm always here answering questions, showing you the trade breakdowns as they happen. Trading today is again 50K top 1 futures account. A little bit longer on the deal running, but yeah, as far as instant funded accounts, you make $3 grand on this thing and you can pull out 2,500. So it's the best price to payout ratio, in my opinion. And, you know, you don't have to spend the time on an eval. So there is benefit to it. There are pros, there are cons. I always tell people it's good to have a handful of accounts. I always recommend trading your personal account too once you have enough, you know, experience under your belt. Otherwise, you're just going to burn money. So we're just going to continue to watch this, see how we trade into this 50% of the range. Probably darken this. So other than, you know, the obvious pendant we're seeing right here, pendant pattern, I'm thinking, are we going to break above and do some sort of like fail and then run lower? Those are the frameworks I'm looking at for the most part, I would say. Real tight consolidation, so something's bound to happen pretty soon. It's either going to break up or break down, right? You got two directions. It could go sideways longer, sure. Just not indefinitely. It's definitely going to switch one way or another pretty soon. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Relatively flat top. It's kind of equal highs. It looks like it's kind of rolling over, especially on the 1 minute a little bit. Starting to see it. If it closes weak, then yeah, you can indicate it might be rolling over. So what are the pros of this trade? If I take this trade and it works, then I make money. The cons of this trade, if I enter right here, it could still sweep this flat top, stop me out. And that wouldn't invalidate the thesis. I still think lower prices are in play. You can try it. But I just feel it's such a vulnerable stop loss. That's the main issue. We've had a tendency to bounce pretty aggressive. So if it does stop me, I'd want to get stopped at the highs as close as possible. Because I don't want to leave the stop up here because then it could get ran and still fail. So I think right here is okay. I'm looking at this consolidation here near the equilibrium of the range. I'm thinking failure of VWAP. I'm thinking it has reason to work, but you know, that's just me. It's one of those days where the ranges are going to dictate the size of your losses. So you could be trying to be super conservative with it, but we're already trading 100 points on Asia. I mean, range expansion, ATR increasing, all that stuff. Is this the little breakdown, right? So you got to ask, which is more valid? This as a breakdown pattern, or is it this as like a bull flag pattern? None of it really matters. It's just what direction is price going to actually move? I think for the thesis, I do like the lower price rotation, the lower low in the session. Tag this external low, or just at least this higher time frame internal low, right? We have it right here. And you have some more, and then probably here by tomorrow or the day after. I just have a hard time believing that we're going to be permanently going up after this. The daily close after failing above prior day high, pushing down into the range. I think this wants to roll. I just don't know if it's super motivated just yet. After giving it a couple minutes right here, I do think it looks better. I think right here kind of got us a little early. Maybe we should have had a wider stop by a couple dollars, but it's all good. Yeah, it's just not going to go today, or at least right now. Yeah, no momentum right here. Yeah, that's what I was saying with a vulnerable stop at the highs. It's all good right there. Let's see. I'm torn because yes, the stop will get ran at these highs. I don't know if I give it more room. I don't think it needs more room. I mean, like, where would I even put it? You have up here, here, you have here. It's like all of this is relatively the same thing. So when I'm entering this trade right here, I'm entering on weakness. And if the next two candles are strength, moving higher, it really does change the outlook of this, where it's a consolidation that then rolls and breaks to the downside versus now it's a consolidation that could break to the upside. All right, it looks like it's tightening. It's probably going to break right here. Let's see, we got it. Break to the upside. Let's see. Only piece of information I can see that's kind of benefiting us is this, that we swept this high. Like, we swept one high right here. That's the only thing that can lead me to believe that this is still valid to the downside. That we swept the top of the range by like one tick, and then we could rotate lower. It's tricky though. We just got the new 5-minute candle, new 15-minute candle as well. So 5 minutes still that sideways action. 15-minute, obviously, it's just that push higher. Yeah, look at what we have on the 15 now. I mean, I guess this is the 15-minute fair value gap right here. So I guess it does kind of work. It's just a stop placement is super in the middle of the road. So, but that's based on my entry. If my entry was at the fair value gap, I'd have a little more leeway. I just don't necessarily want to be bottom ticked on the entry and top ticked on the stop. So I had to kind of put it where I got to put it. Just having a budget for these things, you know. Anywho, that's kind of what we're watching for now. That could be the only piece of info, really. It's that sweep, which is essentially the fair value gap on the 15. But I want to see at least like a lower close, right? Prove that we actually want to break out of this range. Otherwise, you could just run the top of it, you know? See, it's this hold to VWAP so far. Alrighty, so we're starting to push. We'll see if we get the break right here. It doesn't mean the trade's dead. It just means it's dead for now. There's always opportunity closer to the 8 o'clock. But if this one wants to run the highs real quick, put us out of our misery, cool, we'll walk away. I'm still just watching for the break of the structure to the downside. Kind of continue this lower high formation. It is forming a pattern right here. You see it. It's pretty clear, consolidating equal highs, higher lows. But, you know, that can result in a break to either side. Not every pattern breaks the way that it's supposed to. Typically, there's higher time frame elements that will lean to benefit or hinder that kind of action. So you'd be watching for lower lows to be made and close lower. Nothing yet. Nothing yet, ladies and gentlemen. If you're enjoying the stream so far, if you like seeing me take a couple stops, leave a like. It helps the algorithm let more traders like you know about the stream. Always recommend, if you have a Mac or a PC or whatever that you trade on, download one of these pens. It's pretty handy. It helps you visualize what you're actually looking for to happen. Also have a little magnifying glass. Not too bad. Alrighty. Looks like we're tightening right here. Can we get the break to the highs and put us out of the trade? I mean, should we give it, maybe we give it the gap, right? Maybe we just give it this gap. Maybe it needs to tag one time higher. I mean, what's the difference with $20, right? I think it's all the same thing. I think now that we are looking at the 15, maybe we do give it that gap. For proper stop placement, ideally you'd want it up here, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of room in case it just wants a one ticket, you know, kind of like that, right? It doesn't guarantee that this trade is going to work, but I'm thinking if I could give it a little more structure, then I'm cool with that. But just based on my entry being here, I don't want to give it up to here for the risk. It just doesn't make sense for me. I need an entry right here for better risk reward. So we'll rock with it right here. Seeing a little bit of a rejection here after moving the stop just a bit, but I'm not sold just yet. I need to see it break a low. If we can get below 60s, then obviously we're working better. A lot of bearish order flow. You got to remember that. We have a lot of bit higher time frame bearish order flow. So this is kind of the structure we're looking at on the 15-minute. It's based on an hourly fair value gap that got rejected, an hourly inverse. So if we can see this structure start to continue that, we have all of the time frames behind it. It's not that we're going against, you know, a bullish 4 hour. 4 hours is not all that bullish. I mean, sure, you're kind of into equilibrium of this range, but you're starting to invert big levels. So the natural tendency will be to either go sideways right here or slightly drift lower. And then when it's time to displace, it will actually displace lower. So that's what we're watching for. We're trying to get all of the time frames into one. That's really the premise of high probability trading. Time can be an aspect, sure. You know, volatility comes at specific times of day. However, you also have opportunities for continuation trades if you close pretty weak. In my mind, we close pretty weak, so I think the opportunity is here for us to see the continuation right off rip. And plus, we have a lot of room on the daily to still move lower. So can we time this trade perfectly right now? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Maybe this isn't working for us, but it's still along the lines of this same thesis from the short up here to the short here. Then we're just looking for these continued moves to these lows. Not down here today. I don't think so. We're just looking for these next couple lows on the 15-minute. Like probably right here. These two are cool. Probably do this. I'd be okay with this. But we're still holding VWAP, right? We're holding VWAP. We did sweep the highs. We saw zero momentum from that. So this is telling me stop might be next, right? That's what you got to be thinking. What's coming next? More confirmation, or are you getting stopped out of the trade? More invalidation. We're seeing that push back towards that 15-minute fair value gap. It's stuttering, but I think it's going to run it real quick. The fact that we saw no follow through on this push is really indicative of just a stronger market. I would have liked to see this kind of go. So maybe it's trying one last time, but I'm thinking we'll take the stop here, and then that'll be it for the stream. So pretty uneventful stream. I mean, there's a lot that happened, but there's nothing to work with our bias. We'll probably be able to rotate this up a time frame pretty soon. Yeah, like right now, we could probably rotate this to the 2 minute just because it's not doing anything. So I'm just going to shift up a time frame. We have this sweep right here. Is it going to hold? I doubt it. I don't know. What's this stop? Like, can we do like that? 88 or something? This 2 minute gap aligns pretty perfectly with the 15 minute gap. So the stop for the 2 minute fair value gap would be like right here. Kind of give it that room, but I don't like how we're holding higher. Those holds lead me to believe that the stop's coming. Typically with Asia, it'll kind of telegraph what it's trying to do. So when it does stuff like this, it almost always will right after sprint higher. I'm thinking by 7 Eastern, we'll have an answer on our trade. It should stop us out within the next 6 minutes or start to work. But I'm leaning towards the former. Let's see what this 5 minutes looking like. 5 minutes not terribly convincing, honestly. It's like it just doesn't really have a clear picture. Sure, it's still following that signal that we talked about of holding higher right here. It's got a little curl action. But I mean, overall, I mean, it's been pretty bearish. It's just, where is this going to want to pull back to? Is there maybe higher on here that wants to go to? I don't know. 15 did look like a good area for it to stop. The low fair value gap's kind of on point. Anywho. Am I in? Are you in the trade? Yeah, I'm in the trade. Am I in the trade? Looks good for a short. I mean, I'm in it. You see these little orders right here? These are mine. So these are my shorts, or this is my 2 or 3 contracts or whatever. I just think it's gonna, it's probably gonna shake me out or just fail. Yeah, see, that's the stop right there. Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's it. It's not ready to move yet. And I keep getting pretty much stabbed at the highs. So I had one right here, got stopped kind of at the lows, try to invert it. And then just right here, it just kind of kept getting my stop. And then now this one's finally breaking. Normally, you do not expect it to drop like this and then just rip. But given the session, it's pretty common for this to happen in Asia. Anyways, 4 minutes till the hour rotation. So we'll wait until the new hourly candle and then we'll hop off shortly after that. So thank you guys for hanging out so far. Leave a like if you are new to the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you coming through, asking questions, hanging out for a bit. If you're looking for funding, check out Top One Futures. They have instant funded options. If it makes sense for you, it's worth checking out. Best prices right now for the end of summer sale. Code DTA, 55% off pretty much any account on the site. You can save on anything you find. I think that's pretty much it for the day, though. We'll give it to the hourly rotation. Yeah, we've taken like literally like 5 stops on the same idea. Partial size, like throwing pennies at it. But yeah, for this account, it's pretty much daily stop, give or take. Have a couple bucks. I might have 1 bullet left. For the Asia account, I'll do normally like 350 or something like that. For New York, we'll be ready to go. But yeah, I'm just not seeing it work the way I want to, so it's not really worth putting on the trade. I'm willing to justify the entries because of the risk reward. I'm willing to understand that like there is room to the downside. I am positioned small. Stops were in a technical area. I thought that was fine, and it's just not working. So bias is clearly wrong here, which is fine, at least at the moment. I think generally speaking, it still needs to form this lower high and then go lower low. I thought we were just going to do it here, and it's just not happening yet. So I have one more area in mind, but we'll watch for the new hour. If the new hour gives us a setup, we'll take it with pretty small size. and then that'll be it for the day. So we'll drop to like 2 micros or something like that, and we'll see if there's anything on the hour rotation. But other than that, I mean, it's been pretty lackluster. You had the initial momentum here, kind of just stopped in the middle of nowhere. Like there's not really, there's like kind of a level here, kind of. Yeah, I mean, if you want to call it a level, it's like this is the level to me. These are the main lows right here. What's this? 3930 low? Yeah, that's really nothing. So what could be learned with today? Probably trail a little tighter on a day like this. That could work. You don't necessarily need to. You know, maybe you just take less size with a wider stop. I typically like that option, but we're using just like 2-3 micros. It's really not size. It's just a wide range, large ATR. I'll be watching this right here. So our 30 looks like. 30 is really just, yeah, it's not much. It's not much going on here. What's the hourly look like? Should be like a hammer. Yep. Still below this hourly inverse gap. Basically right back into it. But yeah, 55% off any top 1 futures accounts, instant funded options. If you've passed evals, check it out. That's probably the best option for you if you don't want to take another eval. There's consistency rules, but typically you're going to spend just as much time on the funded portion and the eval combined. So just take it slow. That's typically what I recommend people. But we have about 10 seconds till the hour closes and the new hour opens. We'll watch for some fireworks, and if it really just wants to ring our bell again, then cool. We'll let it do whatever it's got to do. It's back into this level right here. It's interesting. So it's like, I wonder, you know, in theory, right? You had a trade right here. If this is the break and the push above, if this traps it, then you run for the lows. I don't know what I think about that. I'm not too sure. Where's the daily? Daily opens right there. I mean, yeah, it looks like now maybe you hold the 15-minute gap as an inverse. That's an option. We're in at 80. We're stop at like 90s. Trying to see if the new hour is going to give us the volatility. If this is the break above and then the failure, the swing, that would assume that this 15-minute candle is going to be an inside bar right here, or slash close below the prior bar low. And then maybe on the next candle, you get the break of the lows. That's what I'm thinking. This could easily hold right here, sure, and flip, and then go. And then that's where we'll end the stream. But this is just my one last ditch effort on the fact that this might be the break above, trap here, then drop. If we kind of evaluate how prices have been moving today, there's been a lot of these trappy kind of moves. If you look at these bounces, they're really, they look like nothing right here, but like we're talking in 2 minutes. Cannot click on this. 38 points in 2 minutes at like 2 p.m. Just random times a day. So the bounces can be pretty aggressive. If this is just going to be a trap and then roll, and then cool. If not, this will be daily stop pretty much. Down 350. It's all good. Can't win them all. This is the Asia account. Will be good for New York. But yeah, this is just a one last ditch effort. I've been pretty familiar with the structure of what's going on. So contextually, I think this is the last opportunity for the short right here. And yeah, if this is done, then it's done. Size down one contract, obviously. Giving a little bit of room. But if it forms a higher low right here, then that's all we can't really do anything about it. If it forms a higher low right here and holds this fair value gap, my best assumption is the next target would be up here. We are above VWAP. Don't love that. We do have this previous structure. The idea is this is going to fail, and then we run and resume the rest of the trend. But if we form this wick right here on the 15, then it's good as done. Well, I think that's it. unless it just spontaneously turns around, that's the end of the stream right there. Anywho, sometimes it happens, right? Sometimes you take some losses. I would say, you have two ways of looking at this. Is it like, am I really taking a bunch of losses, or am I taking the same loss? I would argue this is the same loss I've taken. I feel like on a couple of them, I was more inclined to take it because of the manner that I got stopped out. When I'm just barely getting stopped out, it leads me to believe that I'm making a mistake with my stop placement. Not that the idea is wrong. I think maybe this first one was rushed, sure. But like these entries in this area, it's all the same trade. So maybe the stop did need to be at like 90s or something. Hard to say. Hard to really say. Anywho, it looks like it's about to run the high. So thank you everybody for hanging out. Definitely leave a like if you're new to the stream. If you enjoy this type of just real trading, showing you the highs, the lows, the ins, the outs, this, that, the other. Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow. For sure, we'll be live tomorrow morning for New York. And we should be live Asia at least a couple times this week. So definitely stick around, subscribe if you're new, and let's see if we get the stop real quick. Yeah, let's see this. Just paper cuts, really, just 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 80 bucks, If it's just not working and it's kind of just shaking me out, then so be it. See, what's the daily stop that I have? I have 306, so I have like $2, like 43. That'd be the daily stop. When you start to see it form the higher low and break for the higher high, it's it's hopeful at best to think it's going to stop here. More often than not, it'll go higher. It'll have this natural tendency to drift. It doesn't even have to be strong. It just has to touch the price, and then the trade's dead. So that's kind of what happened here. The price just kind of drifted to the stop, touched the trade was dead, and then yeah, that was pretty much it for that. So yeah, lesson be learned. Maybe have a little bit of a wider stop. I did have a good area that I wanted to try this. Now we're trying on the extreme of that to fail back into the range, but I don't think it's happening. It looks like it's drifty. So what's our 100-tick chart look like? Yeah, it's never a good combo when price is kind of just drifting against your bias, because it's not giving you a clear invalidation. It's just showing it's not ready just yet. But I need this to kind of just stop me out or figure out what it wants to do. But I notice in this market, a lot of these down push candles like this, you'll notice them just get bottomed out and they'll form a giant wick and then kind of flip. But we just roll with it. See what the 2 minute looks like. Yeah, 2 minutes not all that great. It's really just the same thing at the moment. See this wick? You're not going to get any strong closes, it seems. So that's all good. I'm showing you a lot of real-time examples of interpreting price. Doesn't mean that every trade is going to be a win or every trade's a loss or whatever. It just means I'm showing you what I'm seeing develop. If you notice when you watch these streams, I'll walk you through what I'm seeing that's going to tell me the trade is going to fail. I walk you through the things that I do not like to see. It's not that I'm going to be like, oh, I need to get in or out of the trade. That's not really the point. The point is to kind of illustrate what's good or bad about price action when you're looking at the markets. I think that stuff's way more valuable for people's trading than me be like, oh, let me just worry so much about getting stopped out that I jump in or out and just try to finesse it. It's like, who cares? This is a video. I'm making a video. If I want to trade, I could trade. This is me showing people what I think's something repeatable. It wouldn't be an Asia session without a close call that then gets ran. So we got the close call. Now we needed to get ran and stop us out. If anybody, we just need to know if someone started to feel hope that this trade's going to work, because the moment you feel hope, trade's gone. That's been pretty common with this session. So it can be good. It can be a really, really active session. It moves nice when it moves, but a lot of times it'll just get pretty sticky. So could be a day where it's sticky, but either way, we gave it our best shot. Had a little bit poor placement with the stops. Is what it is. And we're just seeing if we get this last thing to figure out what it wants to do. Yeah, no cigar. So you have this fair value gap that formed basically on right into the new hour just before, and it's holding this fair value gap since. So we formed higher low, marginal new high. Now are we going to get that strong higher high? This is that stair stepping you'd want to see if you're in a long. I don't love the location for a long, but you know, that's how I have to read it. It's going against my trade, so I have to read it like that. So higher low, higher low. You'd want to see a break above 88 and hold for it to then run the stop. Otherwise, it's going to stall here, and it could drift lower, sure, but essentially we're getting this inside bar on the 15. 5 looks pretty toppy, but it's not a guarantee that goes down immediately, right? You have these long tails at the top. It's not exactly bullish. You have the lower high, lower low. Is this the lower high to then go lower low? Yeah, I need 23,050, so it'll probably go up. I feel you. Hey, don't worry. I'll just get long right now, and then it'll just tank. That's the one. If you find yourself always on one side of the trade in a market, the moment you really, really, really commit to the other side, that's when it'll reverse, because at that point it's like a psychological. You're just capitulating, and that's an emotional type trade for the market. So that's why those late longs always do get demolished. It's different because early longs do not get punished in the market that aggressively. It's arrogant longs that do. So if you think you could buy every single dip, especially back in like February, you get crushed. And the shorts that get destroyed the most, it's definitely early. Like you absolutely can short too early. You can buy early and still make money, but you could short very few times and actually make money. Arrogant shorts get destroyed. It's arrogant shorts. It's really stubborn shorts. But yeah, longs, it's just the confident ones that get destroyed. So it's either you're stubborn or confident, depending on the side of the trade you're on. Because shorts, if you look at a lot of the bigger guys who are predominantly bearish biased, they will, like, especially with the small caps, you'll see them short a couple lots, then it'll go up, it'll short a couple lots, go up, it'll short a couple lots, and then it finally breaks and their average price has gotten high enough that they make money on the flip. Longs don't necessarily do that all that much, right? Longs are more like they'll try to buy the extremes, but shorts they'll kind of buy it on the lack of momentum, or they'll short on the lack of momentum. So like, if this was a penny stock, right? You'd have guys shorting this, shorting this, shorting this, shorting up here, and then they try to get the flip. So here, let's see if we get the stop real quick. We're almost there. We are almost there. Yeah, real stubborn market. I always say you could be right. You can only be stubborn if you're right. Alrighty, let's see if we get this. So we get the sweep above the highs, right? And now it's 20 seconds on the candle. I think it has enough time to stop it on this candle even. If not the next candle, look at this 5-minute chart. 5 minutes getting a little stronger. We're approaching the close of the 15. So that's important to know. 15, yeah, it looks a little dramatic. It's really just reached. It's really just reaching. What a nail biter though. At least this is good entertainment for you guys. You see, it's like you have no idea what's gonna happen. And that's sometimes how these moves start. Like it's real hesitant at first. Structure's been consolidation, expansion, consolidation. Is it gonna reverse here? Or is it just gonna complete the cycle and push for that, you know, the swing high up here at some point? I think we're bullish at this point. It's not formed a lower low in quite some time. So it's showing that little wedge pattern to the upside. And then break, right? You have 30 seconds. I think we get stopped before the next candle. I really do think we get stopped before the next minute candle, before the next 15-minute candle. Let's see the 15-second, get some more details. 30-second, we'll leave it here. Yeah. Alrighty. Here we are, new candle. Let's see the stop. I doubt this holds. There's no way this is going to hold under. It's going to run the stop right here. Okay, cool. There you go. You got that wick. Alrighty, cool. That's how you lose in fashion. Just not giving me the idea I have in mind. So that's a daily stop for the day. I'm done. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Leave a like if you like seeing this type of action. Hopefully some better action for tomorrow during New York, but we'll have our yeah, we'll be ready. We'll trade New York with our New York account and we'll kind of go from there. Check out Top One Futures, 55% off. And I mean, that's pretty much, that's all she wrote. I mean, what else you want? The market just drifted higher. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you hanging out for the afternoon. And until next time, remember, as always, decipher the algo.